Okay, welcome everyone. Good morning. I'm glad you're all here with us today, and I'm really excited to be joined by Ty Chum. Ty Chum grew up in a refugee camp in Thailand and is now an entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and city council candidate for Lowell, Massachusetts. His work involves helping individuals upgrade their public speaking skills and their self-development. Ty, really excited to see you here and to join this conversation today. And just a little background, Ty and I met through an organization that we're both part of, National Speakers Associations. We're both really passionate about bringing our messages of hope and self-development out into the world. And when I first met Ty, something that really inspired me about his story and his example was Ty grew up in a somewhat rough situation, and yet he came out the other end in a much more positive way. And not that many people get to say that. So I'd like to start there, Ty, and just whatever you feel comfortable sharing a little bit about your background and where you're coming from. And then I'll ask you some questions along the way. But if you want to start there, I think it would be great for people to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Dylan. Good morning. Like Dylan was saying, I grew up in a refugee camp in Thailand. My home country is Cambodia. There was a genocide happened, wiped like a quarter of the population out. That was rough. So my dad, my parents, my brother and sister, we had to make the process all the way to the U.S. When I got here to the U.S., I was 5 years old. I was in 1990s, and we got nobody, we got no support, we got no families. We just trying to survive. If we stay where we at, we might die. And being, no support, no families, or anything like that, we just came and you can imagine, homeless is a big thing, right? Trying to have food on the table is a big thing. So those are always constantly on our mind. The mental capacity is a big thing. There's a lot, but so to get where I am, like, I'm just fortunate. Someone's up there looking for me. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah. Amen to that. Yeah. When you ended up, you grew up in Cambodia and then ended up in this refugee camp.
No, I was born in refugee camps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
wow.
When I was born, my dad wasn't even there. He was a soldier for the Cambodian guard. So he was out there doing his thing, and I was in the camp. My mom just got me and came out, and then finally after whatever he took his business there, he came and meet my mom in the camp, and that's where we just kind of yeah.
Wow. And how old were you when you left the camp?
5. Yeah.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very impressionable. Yeah, that's a very impressionable period of time, like those first few years. Mm-hmm. Especially having been, that's all that you knew at that point. It's mm-hmm. Whatever you're comfortable sharing. But what when you transitioned out at 5, where did you go after that?
We went to Tennessee, Memphis.
Oh, wow, interesting.
The barbecue was real.
yeah. What a shift.
Yeah.
What a shift. And how did that? Who facilitated that?
We'll sponsors. So the church got us in sponsors, and I was in Tennessee. Back then, I just remember we were living just right next to the train tracks. So every time during noontime, I always wait outside the train because we're hungry, right? I was hungry. Yeah. So when the guy drive, with the train coming back, going by, they always throw us candies. And we just pick up candy and eating. That's our lunch.
Yeah. Who doesn't like candy? Yeah. Yeah. Very, very. Yeah. I can understand that. And this was at the refugee camp, or this was in Memphis?
This is in Memphis. After we came, our first place we landed in Memphis. Train came by, and that's how I can remember Memphis. And then we moved to Lowell actually a couple months afterward, because there was hardly any job. My dad couldn't work, my mom couldn't work, so we moved to Lowell. That was the process from Memphis to Lowell was rough too. We drive, like we hire someone to drive us all the way down to Lowell. Like I said, we got no family, no connections. And by the time we get to Lowell, we were practically homeless. We couldn't find anybody to stay with, and we don't know any service. My parents couldn't speak the language, so we don't know where to go for help either. That was a rough thing too. Yeah, I remember the first time I actually sleep in my dad finally got someone, like a friend. We went in there and sleep in the living room. And I was little, and I was like, man, this is the most comfortable thing ever, just sleeping on the floor and getting up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, interesting how that works. The contrast of having nothing and then just having something, how it
mhm,
can just be an amazing feeling. So much of this I take for granted. Having a
mhm.
bed, having food. I mean, just I kind of take it for granted, but it's really helpful to be reminded that not we don't always get that, and I think a lot of people like myself need to be reminded of that, and that's a powerful reminder. So just getting out of the refugee camp was kind of the start of moving away from a lot of this harder way of life, what you call poverty. And then there was still a process. So you came to the States, Memphis, still trying to find your family, still trying to find a place to sleep. Not necessarily. How would you get food at that point?
Oh, good food. So Lowell, Massachusetts is great because they got all
Yeah.
these government aids, right?
Yeah, a lot of social
Yeah,
services. Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff, and the way I get food back then was I was waiting in the park every like I think like around noontime. There's always someone giving us these brown bags. Like I remember this milk carton. They give us the milk and the cereals, and just
All
three
right.
times a day. Yeah, we just go and wait, and that's how we get food.
All right. Huh.
Yeah, it
Cool.
was crazy.
Yeah. It's a great thing, but probably not a way you want to live
Yeah,
forever, right?
yeah,
It's like a really good thing to have that support,
yeah.
and it's not something necessarily like want to stay
Mhm.
in that way. So how did you or your family start to finally move out of that?
It took us a while. I think when I was in high school, finally, we could adjust to the cultures just a little bit more. This is the American cultures. You just have to work your way, try to find your own ways, and connect with people. You can't be shy about talking to people. With the Khmer cultures, it's a taboo to look at people in the eyes when we're talking. You
Huh.
can't do that. If I'm talking to an older person and they're Khmer, the same thing as me, I will get I will get
Yeah.
more like a beat down in a sense, right? You can't
Oh
do that.
wow, for
Yeah.
making eye contact.
Yeah, for making eye contact.
Wow,
And when you're
okay.
younger and you're going to, I remember my dad was having a party with he's having his friend there. I was just trying to join the conversation, just trying to be friendly, right? Just
Yeah,
talk.
right. Yeah.
And then all of them just looking at my dad. Why are you letting him in our conversation? Tell him to get out. I go, like, wow, yeah, you can't do that. Like, there's a certain rules to the cultures. Like, young
Yeah.
people, you can't go into a conversation that you don't know of. All these stuff. But we get out. We get out of it when my sisters she's actually my role model. She's I would say she's the main thing that we kind of really just break out poverties. She passed high school. That was the toughest thing ever. She passed high school, so I see her as a role model. I have to pass high school. Being the second oldest, being the second oldest and the oldest guy in the family. So as a man,
Mm.
as an Asian man, I have a lot to like. My dad always said, you have a lot on your shoulders. You have the names, the legacy, the bloodline, the role model to your brothers and sisters. I got three brothers and three sisters, and they're all looking up at me. It's like, what he's going to do next. So I follow
Mm.
my sister's footsteps. She graduated high school, and then she went to college on her own. No one tell her anything. She's like, you know what? This is what I got to do for my little brother and sister. She went to college. She graduated, and that's when I just follow her step. I just follow it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what
Mm.
about college. I don't know what's the benefit of it. I just follow her. And then she graduated college, associate degree. I graduated. Then she got bachelor. I got bachelor degrees, and that's how we get out. The
Wow.
knowledge coming in. It's just role model. Just find that role model.
Yeah, and this was someone that you and your sister were close.
We were really close, yeah. Because we have no family. I mean, we just us, just trying
Yeah.
to survive and get out there.
So I imagine that made a difference. I mean, a lot of us have role models to an extent, I think, or at least people that we look up to. Like I might say, oh, I look up to Michael Jordan, or I look up to JFK. But those are pretty detached, and it sounds like having a role model that's close, an intimate that you have a relationship with can make a huge difference, at least from what I'm hearing you say. Your sister being really close to you and you looking up to her and mirroring her behavior. Yet at this time, you were also surrounded by a lot of other influences, right? So gang stuff like this at this time. Is that accurate?
Yep, during high school was a lot of gang. I mean, you can't just walk out without having to be in the gang, or else you get hit.
And this was in Ludlow.
This in Lowell, back in the
Low, yeah.
1990s, gang was the biggest things. And to the Khmer community, we came, and Lowell is the second largest population for the Khmer communities. So beside California is the largest. We came in here, and then like we don't have any families, right? The genocide happens. We lost our identities. We kind of lost our cultures in the process. So what do? You know, gang is the biggest thing. When gang is formed, it's like act like a family, a support systems. But
Yeah.
with gangs, it come with a lot of other negative stuff.
Right. Yeah,
It's
totally.
the violence, yeah, the guns, the drugs is there, right? And this is where and the stuff. And it take me. I would say back then, I call myself stupid lucky. I don't know if that makes sense to a couple of people. Just stupid lucky. I just follow my sister and
I
just
like
know.
that. I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Just go with whoever looks successful, whoever's close to you, whoever loved you. That's what it was. I was just stupid lucky. Just go whoever it is. I know that gang won't give me that. Yeah, they give me the support and the protections and the comforts of having a family. But I always see myself, if I'm part of that, what's going to happen to my sister and brother? They're going to join gangs. And there's the drugs too. Like if I use drugs, and I'm not saying I don't use drugs. But back then when you're a kid, to me, you try it. You try it
Yeah,
out,
yeah, you did.
smoking,
Yeah.
try it out, and it's like, okay, I don't like this, but I see a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
I see a lot of my gang friends do it. They still do
Yeah,
it.
and for some people, like I know for me, there was underlying issues that when I used the drugs, they started to help in the beginning, but because they were used to deal with an issue, it became unsustainable. So I don't think everybody can necessarily use it safely, you know. However, for some people they can. But it sounds like for you, you had this relationship with your sister, but you also had this. So you had this person you're looking up to, but you also had people looking up to you, which added pressure. It sounds like a really good pressure though to you. Like, oh, I can't get too involved in this, in the gang stuff or in the drugs because I have my brothers and sisters looking up to me, right? So it sounds like there's this like two-way street. On one hand, you're looking up, and on the other hand, someone's looking up to you. Is that accurate? Does that sound
Yeah, that's perfect right there. My
and
dad
that
is
helped?
always there. Yeah, my dad he's helped. He's the only one that survived from his family, from his side family. He's the only one. He got two
Wow.
brothers and a sister. Parents all gone because of the genocides. If you ever wonder about the Khmer cultures, the Cambodian cultures, the history, look at the Killing Field. There's a
Okay.
movie, a documentary called The Killing Field. You understand it more.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I will. Yeah, I
yeah, he's
will.
the only one to survive.
Hmm. And can you say the name of the cultures again?
Khmer, Khmer. And
Khmer.
yep,
Khmer.
yep, Khmer.
Khmer. Okay.
Yep, yep. The
Yeah.
Killing Field is a good documentary if you want to know more. But the thing, my dad hold me a lot, and I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't get into those kind of mess without. I couldn't get out where I was back then without his help. He's always say, you're the oldest son. You got a lot of stuff going on your show. You got to keep our name alive. When I'm gone, you got to bring our name back up." Because he served the royal family. He served the kings and queens, and he got a lot of pride and high status and all this stuff. And and we always pass it along. We call it the bloodline. We always pass it along to generation to generation. And now it's my turn. And I want to keep that tradition. I want to keep that culture. You know, I feel proud of it. It's who I am. It's
Yeah.
my identity.
Yeah.
Even if it's stripped off, right? You have to bring it back.
Yeah. I really, really admire that.
Mm.
Yeah. When you were given that baton, and baton in races, they pass on the baton. So when you were passed on this lineage or this opportunity or even pressure, well, was it too much? Like, was the pressure too much, or is it, I think of it as a good thing, and it sounds like it was for you, but did you ever feel like, how did you navigate that? It sounds like a lot of pressure, that you were under, yet it seemed like it worked really well. You have any
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of pressures. And sometimes I just I call it depression mode. It's like, man, I can't do this. I can't graduate. I don't even know how to read and write. I can't pronounce it right. But I got to do this for my dad. I got to do this for my sisters and brother. And then there's sometimes, oh man, a couple of friends, a gang member came in and said, hey, you know what? Let's go out and do something. Like, no, I can't do that. And the pressure coming in. But it's a good, like you say, it's a good pressure. But I have to balance it. It took me a long time to learn how to balance. And when I was a kid, I don't really know much till now. Like I could balance it very well to use in the ways of my advantage. Right? Like if I don't do this, I fail on everything. The thing that haunt me the most, and every time, this always make me wake up every time 3 o'clock in the morning. That's my thing now. 3 o'clock in the morning, I always wake up and do my habit. I work out, I read, I write, my journal.
At 3, wow, you get up early, man. I thought 5 o'clock was early. 3 o'clock, kicking my butt, man.
But I see it like that. I got 3 young kids. You know, my oldest one is 7 right now. I got 5 and a 2, and they're getting out like around 6. So 3 give me 3 hours.
I get it. So you got to get up at 3, otherwise it's not getting done, right?
But it's getting to the point where I learn to use the pressures in a way to my advantage, and that's it's good. I think everybody have something on the table that pushing them to do whatever they need to do. Right? This procrastination is always going to be there. Feeling tired, whatever it is, it's always going to be there. But think of it this way: who are you doing it for? If you can't do it for yourself, I know when I was young, I didn't do it for myself. There's no doubt about it. 100%, I couldn't do it for myself. Those kind of stuff that got me out of trouble, it wasn't for me. It was actually for my sister, my brothers, my family, my dad, my legacy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I like how you said that, because when it sounds like at those crucial moments when you were down, you were depressed, and then a little temptation comes your way, you're already feeling down. Someone comes and says, hey, why don't we go like deal drugs? It'll be quick money, you'll feel better, you can do some Even in those moments when you're really susceptible, you still had this narrative of like, but I can't do that. I can't do that because of my dad. I can't do that because of my brother, my sister. So even in those moments, like those really defining moments where it could have gone either way, you had this like deeper purpose that kept you going forward, which I think is really crucial difference that not a lot of people have or realize is possible. They might have it, but they don't realize how important it is. They might have the father, they might have the brother, but in those moments, what does it matter? And that voice of what does it matter can be a really destructive voice, right? Because that can dictate the rest of their life. They make a choice, in those moments, it could really dictate a lot. So it's really powerful, man, that you made the other choice, the right choice. Yeah.
There's a lot of choice that I remember. If I could, just one little slip, it's like I won't be here. There's a lot. I cannot count how many things that I avoid that it's like it's just stupid lucky. There's just a lot.
Yeah. Huh.
Stupid
lucky. That's a good good tagline.
Just try to find your values. I always tell people when they ask me, so Ty, how you got your own business? How you like when you ask them from poverty to being somebody, right? It's just the values. Try to find a value and just try to find like who are you really doing it for? Right? At the moment you can't do it for yourself, do it for someone else. There gotta be someone else out there. If you can't do it for someone else, do like a doc, a cat, whatever it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for someone else. Yeah, good point. That's very good point. So those of you who are listening who are struggling and feel like you can't do it, who is somebody that you can do it for? And there's got to be somebody. Everybody has somebody. Yeah, good point, man. Very good stuff. Any last tips, thoughts, suggestions, even questions, and anything coming up for you that you want to touch on before we wrap up here?
I would say I've been thinking for a couple of days now, like how could I bring values to your communities, right? To people who get affected by these kind of stuff that shouldn't be affected. And always one thing that popped in my head is just that it's the value. It really is. You got to find out who love you and you don't have to love them. Just figure out who love you and you just do it for them. That will get you out. That get me out a lot. Like the stupid lucky is that. Like who do I love? My parents, my sisters, my brothers. Even though sometimes they go like, I don't want to be next to you. We don't even talk right now. It's like, I don't want to be next to you. I don't want to see you. You're doing all this stuff. Why are you doing that? Why are you being a motivated speaker? Why are you opening this business? Who knows what's gonna happen when? But they're saying all those stuff, those negative stuff. Like it's negative, but to me it's like it's positive because you know what? They care. They don't want to see me fail. Like it's the same thing with opioid. It's the same thing when people say stuff because they care about you. If they don't say anything, they don't care about you anymore. So just find who it is that say. Yeah. Even the negative, even when they say negative things, they caring about you.
Care enough to say something,
yeah, use that as a fuel. Use it as like a fire to light up your flame inside, whatever it is. Okay, I'm not gonna do this because that person just say something to I'll go do it. Whatever it is, just find a little spark. And you never know, that little spark might grow up big. It happened to me a lot of time. That's my secret. Stupid lucky. Find who it is, to fuel it in, the values, and just keep on going. You can't do it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Ty, it's great to see you again. Great to spend some time with you. Where can people get in touch with you if they want to reach out?
Facebook, just type in my name, TY, and last name CHUM, you'll see it. And I'm also running for city council this year. I did it a couple years, 2 years ago, and this year's my second year. So I'm planning to get in the city halls and preventing violence, especially preventing drug abuse. That's something I want to look at.
Nice.
Because it's preventable. It really is preventable.
Nice.
Reach them while they're young, teach them about the values, the insights, who their loved one is. You can get it out real quick. So I'm hoping to bring that in so we all get it out. Yeah, Chum for Low, CHUMLOWELL.
Awesome, Ty.
Yeah.
Thanks again, and hopefully we'll connect again soon.
Cool. Thanks, Dylan. Take care, everyone.